We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
So, hello friends, I am Dr. Kaushal from SNPIT and RC, Bardoli, Surat, Gujarat. So, today we are going to discuss the topic heat transfer. So, right here we will discuss 3 things. Right? This is the topic of science or engineering, and what is the basic difference between heat, temperature, and energy. So these things we are going to discuss here, and these are generally looks like a similar, but these are not similar. So we will discuss these things with the example and mechanism of the heat transfer. So here, with the help of these 2 vessels, we will find out the difference between heat, energy, and temperature. So in this vessel, this have some liquid. This is less liquid compared than this vessel, and this liquid is at 80 degrees centigrade temperature, and this liquid is at 70 degrees centigrade. So if we will find out the energy of this vessel will be lesser than this vessel, because these vessel have more molecules, and if you will add the energy of these total molecules, it will be higher than this vessel. But temperature, this vessel have more. So how we can increase the energy of this vessel? So then we have to provide heat. Again, we have to heat this vessel, then we can raise the energy of this vessel. So this is the basic difference between heat, energy, and temperature. Although this vessel have higher energy but have lesser temperature. So now we will discuss this heat transfer is the topic of science or engineering. So during your intermediate class, you have studied about the thermodynamics. So the science of thermodynamics deals with the amount of heat transfer as a system undergoes a process from one equilibrium state to another. But it do not give the idea how much time process will take. But in engineering, we are often interested in the rate of heat transfer, which is the topic of science. So in the chemical industry, if you want to cool a fluid with the help of another fluid, then you will use the heat exchanger, and you will be interested how much time it will take to get the desired temperature. So now we will discuss the 3 mechanism of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. So we will start from the conduction first. So conduction takes place generally in solids, and heat transfer by molecular collision. So this is the suppose metal rod, and you are heating one end, and this is the temperature at T1, this is at T2. So T1 will be always higher, then heat will transfer from this end to this end. So if you are heating this end, then the kinetic energy of this molecule will increase, and these molecules will start to vibrate. So when this molecule will vibrate, then this will transfer the energy this neighboring molecules, then this will transfer energy to this, then this. Likewise, the energy will transfer from this end to this end. So here, any actual flow of matter is taking place? No. In conduction, there is no actual flow of matter, taking place, but in convection it takes place. So this is the mechanism of conduction for the heat transfer. Now we will discuss about the unsteady state and steady state. So what is the unsteady state? When you have started to heat this end and you are providing the heat to raise the temperature of this end maximum 100 degrees centigrade. But before reaching the 100 degrees centigrade, the temperature of this end will be something like 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. So continuously it will absorb the heat with the time. So the temperature of each cross section will change with the time. That state is known as the unsteady state. And at the end, what will happen? The end temperature of this end will reach at 100 degrees centigrade. This will be at 80, 60, and 40, and 20. So then each cross section of this rod will not absorb the temperature, and that will be the constant with time. So that state is known as steady state. At steady state, heat transfer will take place? Yes, because each cross section temperature will be constant, but there will be the difference between this end and this end. So the heat transfer will take place. So if you will see in this rod, this heat transfer is proportional to area, temperature difference, time, and it is inversely proportional to the length or thickness of this rod X. So here we will see Q by T is equal to Q. So Q is the rate of heat transfer and Q is the heat transfer. So here if we will see the rate of heat transfer, then we will put the proportionality constant K and area A, temperature difference, and then divide by thickness. So then we will get this equation Ka delta T upon X. So thus we conclude that the rate of heat conduction through a plane layer is proportional to the temperature difference across the layer and heat transfer area, but is inversely proportional to the thickness of the layer. That is rate of heat conduction proportional area temperature difference upon thickness or length. Then Q is equal to Ka T1 minus T2 upon delta X is equal to minus Ka delta T upon delta X. So here the negative sign ensures that heat transfer is in the positive direction. X is a positive quantity. So where the constant of proportionality K is the thermal conductivity of the material, which is a measure of the ability of a material to conduct heat. In the limiting case of delta X tends to 0, the equation above reduces to the differential form. Q is equal to minus Ka dt upon dx. So which is called the Fourier's law of heat conduction. Here dt upon dx is the temperature gradient, which is the slope of the temperature curve on a Tx diagram, the rate of change of T with X at location X. So we will understand this in more detail by these two figures. So slope is tan theta is equal to perpendicular upon base. So this is T1 minus T2 upon X1 minus X2. So this is the X1 X2 and this is the T1 T2. So if you will find out delta T upon delta X, then it will be the average rate of heat transfer between 2 points. So like that we can find out. And if we want to find out the instantaneous rate of heat transfer at a particular point, then we have to find out the dt upon dx. So at this point, we can find out like this, dt upon dx. And sometimes people are using del t upon del x. At that time, we are interested about the direction also. So del t upon del x means the heat transfer, rate of heat transfer in the direction of x. So here we will discuss about the analogy between heat current and electrical current. So what is the analogy? Analogy is just the similarity between two laws. Here we are discussing about the Fourier law and Ohm's law. So how they are similar. So this thing we will know here. So the rate of flow of heat is known as heat current Q, and here the driving force is the change in temperature. So that delta T is the driving force. And here thermal resistance RT is equal to X by Ka. So this is the thickness, and this is the thermal conductivity, and this is the area. So general equation here is the Q is equal to delta T upon R. And in case of Ohm's law, the rate of flow of electric charge is known as electric current. And here potential difference delta V is the driving force. So electrical resistance here shown by rho L upon A, and this is the general equation I is equal to delta V upon R. And if we want to add resistance, then in series we are adding like this, and in parallel we are adding like this. This is the just circuit arrangement in series and in parallel. So this is the equation for conduction of heat through a plane wall. This is the plane wall and composite wall. So these two, if we will see, then this is the composite wall. So here also we will use this general equation, Q is equal to delta T overall upon R resistance. So Q is the this temperature is initial T1 and final temperature T2, and this is the resistance for this slab, and this is the resistance for this slab. So just we will add this in series, and we will find out the rate of heat transfer through the composite wall. If we want to find out the rate of heat transfer through a hollow cylinder, then we can use this equation. So this is the resistance R is equal to 1 upon 2 pi xk ln R2 upon R1. So here R2 is the outer radius of the hollow cylinder and R1 is the inner radius of the hollow cylinder. So if we will see here the overall heat transfer coefficient through the conduction mechanism, then the overall heat transfer by combined modes is usually expressed in terms of an overall conductance or overall heat transfer coefficient U. So heat transfer Q is equal to UA delta T. So here U is just the addition of 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 and so on. So till now I was discussing about the conduction mechanism. Now we will see what is the convection. So convection is a process of heat transfer that will occur between a solid surface and a fluid medium when they are at different temperatures. So here this is the solid surface and this is the fluid, and if you will heat this solid surface, then what will happen? Heat will transfer from the solid surface to this liquid, and at starting what will happen, this liquid near to surface will get heat, and the density of this liquid will be lesser than this cool fluid. So these molecule will go up and this molecule will come down. So when heat transfer takes place through a density difference, then this is known as a natural convection. And when we are using this stirrer, so turbine or fan, then what is happening? this phenomena is just negligible, and then when any external force is used, such as turbine or fan, then it is known as forced convection. And when both phenomena like density difference and this fan or stirrer is working, then that is known as a mixed convection. So for the conduction, we saw the law, Fourier's law of heat conduction, and for the Newton's law, we will discuss heat transfer by convection is given by the Newton's law of cooling. Q is equal to HA Ts minus T infinity. Here H is the convection heat transfer coefficient in watt per meter square Kelvin. So Ts is the temperature of the surface in Kelvin, and T infinite is the temperature of fluid in Kelvin. As is the surface area in meter square. So the convection heat transfer coefficient H is not a property of the fluid. It is an experimentally determined parameter whose value depends on all the variables influencing convection, such as, so these are the variables: the surface geometry, the nature of fluid motion, the properties of fluids, and the bulk fluid velocity. So this was the just mechanism of the convection. Now we will discuss about the third mechanism of rate of heat transfer. This is the radiation. So radiation is the energy emitted by matter in the form of electromagnetic waves or photons as a result of the changes in the electromagnetic configurations of the atoms or molecules. The transfer of energy by radiation does not need the presence of an intervening medium. So here heat can transfer through the vacuum also. So from the sun, whatever heat is coming to the earth, this is coming through the radiation only. So energy transfer by radiation is fastest compared than the convection or conduction, and it can be transferred through vacuum. So radiation is a volumetric phenomena, and all solids, liquids and gases emit, absorb or transmit radiation to varying degrees. However, radiation is usually considered to be a surface phenomena for solids that are opaque to thermal radiation, such as metals, wood and rocks. So in the conduction, we saw the Fourier's law. In convection, we saw the Newton's law of cooling. And for the radiation, this Stefan-Wolf's law is used. The maximum rate of radiation that can be emitted from a surface at an absolute temperature Ts in Kelvin or in Rankine is given by the Stefan-Boltzmann law. So this is the Q emit maximum is equal to the sigma. As is the surface area and Ts to the power 4. So here sigma is the 5.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 watt per meter square into Kelvin to the power 4 is the Stefan-Boltzmann constant. So this is the definition of black body. A black body absorbs all incident radiation regardless of wavelength and direction. For a prescribed temperature and wavelength, no surface can emit more energy than black body. And this is the definition of gray body. If a body absorbs a definite percentage of incident radiation, irrespective of their wavelength, the body is known as gray body. The emissive power of a gray body is always less than that of the black body. So here we have discussed three basic mechanisms of heat transfer: conduction, convection and radiation. Thank you.